I'm here to talk about my pantry. I'm in my comfy socks. We're gonna have a great time. Hello and welcome to this video. So I am going to be talking about something that makes me so happy, and that is my pantry. So I'm kicking myself because I did this quite a while ago. If you've been here for a while, then you know that I've talked about it a lot. I wish I had filmed the process of doing it, but I didn't even think about it. So here we are. I'm just gonna talk about it. And also it's kind of nice that I'm doing it now because it has gone through a few tweaks and a lot of adjustments, and I think it's where I like it now. So I thought I would just take you through what I did, how I did it, where I got everything from, and also I just have a few, like we have some new spices that I need to make new containers for, and yeah, just how it all works, and just come with me and be happy about my pantry with me. So, are there better and prettier pantries out there? Absolutely. I'm not that great at this kind of thing. We cook and we bake a ton, and so we have a lot of kitchen items, and so we always have like a really well-stocked pantry. Beforehand, I'll show you a clip of what our pantry looked like. It was very overwhelming, and there's two things that I hate in a kitchen. One is when you're trying to pull something out, you're trying to work in a certain area and you're knocking everything over trying to get what you need. Like there's nothing more stressful to be in that situation. Number two thing that I absolutely detest is when you don't even remember what you have because it's so buried deep in there and you can't see it, and so you end up buying doubles of it, or you just don't even remember that you have it, so you just don't use it and it just takes up space and makes more clutter. I realized really soon that I wanted to organize our pantry because it was a disaster. So don't mind me, I'm just gonna be making some quinoa chili for lunch. The first and foremost thing that I wanted with this pantry was that I wanted it to be super functional. I know that there are a lot of things that you can see online for how to have like the cutest, most beautiful pantry, but they're not super functional. Like having our flowers in bags makes so much more sense because we store them on the top shelf. So I didn't want these big, bulky, cumbersome, like super fragile glass jars that had to be big enough to hold all of our flour, and so we just leave it in the bags. And honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. It makes it easy for us to identify because there are different colors for the different types of flowers, and yeah, we use them so often, so I'm not bothered by that at all. The next thing that I don't believe in is getting containers to put already like well packaged things into. For example, I don't buy separate containers for all of my different kinds of pastas. One, because that's expensive, and two, because it just takes up so much space. And you also see the beautiful pantries that have little boxes to put all of their granola bars, and so they like get home, take everything out of their original boxes, and then put them into a separate box. That just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a big waste of time and energy and space and all these different things. So the second main function of my pantry is that I wanted it to be pretty budget friendly. So it can get really expensive really fast to go out and buy brand new containers for every single thing that you want to repackage, and there's just a lot of kind of waste involved with the whole idea of it. I recognize that, but also again, it does add functionality and it does make me happy and make my pantry more beautiful. So I thought that that aspect was worth it for me to buy a few new canisters and things. Yeah, it would have been so much cuter if we had gotten all brand new containers and they all would have matched and made a perfect little cute set and whatever. But what we ended up doing is we have a lot of peanut butter jars, and so that's what a lot of our containers are. Like all of the ones with the gold lids are all old peanut butter jars. And then all of our spices, for example, they are just repurposed or they're from other things that we've used up, and so they don't match, they're mismatched. But honestly, I kind of love that because it makes it really easy to identify. Like I know that this tub one is our cumin, which we use all the time, and this one right here is our garlic because it looks different, and like this one is the cumin seeds and it has a silver lid, and so it just makes it really easy and quick for me to be able to know which spice that I want in which container. And they're all labeled, of course, too, but it does make it nice. But just to show you, like that's a lot of peanut butter jars, right? It's a lot. But to show you our shame and our guilt, if you look up here, there's even more. This whole section is just full of old jars, most of them peanut butter. So the way that I decided to do it, I looked at what we used a lot of or what I like to store bigger amounts of, and I bought containers for that. So for example, kind of bulk grains that we use a lot of, I went ahead and bought these containers that are really cute. They're from the warehouse. And if you look at the bottom, these are the 1.4 liter. So it's a really good size for us. It fits in our pantry really well. I like that they're tall and skinny because then you can fit more in and it just works really well. So we bought 10 of those and that was the perfect amount for us. Like I counted how many I wanted. And then for things that I wanted to store less amounts of because we don't use that much at a time or whatever, I repurposed old jars for those. And then up there, again, we have our flowers and stuff. I just keep them in their bags. And like I said, I don't believe in getting a separate canister just to put our off-brand wheat bix in. Back there we have like some chocolates and snacks and stuff that I like to keep out of view. And then this is just our pasta and our noodles. So we have our rice noodles, we have our normal pasta. That would have been like 4 different jars when I'm okay with having it in bags and just getting the one that I want. So I also try to organize it in categories. So I put like things next to like. A lot of this stuff is our breakfast because we put cocoa powder in like most of our breakfast. Yeah, a lot of our oatmeal stuff. These are a lot of our snacky things like raisins, pumpkin seeds, peanuts. We have coconut flakes here, chocolate chips here. And then in the back, in this area, it kind of turns into baking. So we have our white sugar, our brown sugar, and then we have like palm sugar, and then icing sugar. I don't use those nearly as often, so I just kind of have them back there. And then up here is also more baking. So we have our baking powder, soda, arrowroot powder, some chunkier salts and stuff, vanilla, a lot of like baking flours, like our coconut flours back there as well. And then down here, the way that I have this set up, I love it. I tend to keep 2 cans of everything just so I know exactly how many I have. So like 2 cans of black beans, 2 cans of chickpeas, 2 cans of cannellini beans, all these different things. I tend to keep around 8 cans of different tomatoes, like whole and chopped and like Italian, whatever. And then 4 cans of coconut milk, just because we use a lot and I don't like to have to run to the grocery store for like one dumb thing. And then yeah, we have our coconut creams and stuff. And then this section is just kind of the stuff that I reach for a lot. So like our peanut butter, almond butter, and then this is a lot of we use a lot of that stuff for our Asian meals and things. That's another thing I've noticed because we like cooking with so many different like cultures, foods. You are required to go and get like different sets of cooking stuff. I'm saying this really badly. You know, if you want to make a bunch of Asian dishes, you want to invest in all these different like soy sauces and vinegars and all these different things. Whereas if you want to cook a bunch of Indian food, that's a lot of different spices. And so we have done that, which is why we have so much in our pantry. And we have, yeah, it's just a lot, but we love it. So over here, all of our spices. So, I mean, it kind of naturally evolves that the things that we use most are up front and then the things that we use less of are in the back. I would love to get like just a wooden box or something so then you can set them on top and then raise them up so you can see it a little bit better. This would be overwhelming to somebody that isn't used to our kitchen, but anyways. And then down here, super simple, we just have our blender and then we have our Instant Pot. These are like snacky things for our baby. That's our scale. And then we have these 2 big canisters because we use a lot of oats. So we have a big one for steel cut oats and rolled oats. Let me see what size. Oh my gosh, coordination is not my strong point. 2.7 liters. Yeah, those just live back there because they don't fit on any of these other shelves. They're really big and cumbersome, like I was saying I didn't want with my flowers. So yeah, they just live down there and they're pretty easy to pull out. And then back there we just have some different party drinks and oil. So that was the full tour of our pantry. Again, I love it and it makes me so happy. Oh, another thing is that I did invest in a label maker. So I just got one of these bad boys. It's a Dymo label maker. It's like the type print one, which I love. I think it's so cute and it just makes it all look so good. I know that a lot of other people, a more budget friendly way is to get a Sharpie, like one of those silvery looking paint markers or whatever, and you can just handwrite it. My handwriting isn't that great and I just preferred to get the label maker. It wasn't that expensive. It was like 20 bucks and yeah, it just makes it look so good. I always do them crooked. I banished them on a walk and now they're back because I take too long to film. Anyways, having a well-stocked and well-organized pantry, it just makes cooking so much easier and nicer. What did Daddy bring us? An already mostly eaten samosa.
I didn't already eat it. You ate it.
I ate it all. I'm so hungry. Everybody should know homemade veggie broth is the best. Another perk to me is that I really like bulk shopping to try and produce less waste, and it tends to save you a little bit of money, but it just makes a lot of sense to go to the bulk stores with your reusable cloth bags, and then you need a place to store them when you get home. So that is another huge reason why I really wanted to have bulk bins at home that I can go and fill my grains and legumes and all that good stuff with. There is a downside to all of this though, and that is when you go to the bulk store and you get a little bit too much of something. So we have kind of an overflow cabinet down here so that when we buy too much of something or it doesn't fit up there or whatever, we just have it down here. Or I also put stuff down here that we don't necessarily like use a lot of, like it doesn't deserve a labeled place in my normal pantry. And then also I just like to have things on hand for when we run out, and so it's not the frantic running to the grocery store. So like I have an extra mayo and mustard and like an extra thing of coconut oil and extra raisins that didn't fit in the jar up above. And so just things like that. So sometimes it does seem a little bit silly to have an extra pantry for your pantry, but it does just make everything so much nicer. Well, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to talk about on this subject. Now you all know the inner secrets and the workings of my pantry. Also, if there's ever anything else that you want to see from me, let me know, because I like making videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.